Scary, and this is my channel, Weakest of Weeks. If you're a first-time viewer, I appreciate you clicking on the video, and definitely consider subscribing. I have a ton of how-to stuff out there, and especially Saab-related videos. Today's video is coming to you from the not-so-distant past, and I am saying that because the completion of this video, well, unfortunately, will take a few months. So it'll jump around here and there, but what I can tell you is I just drove about almost 2 hours away from my home outside of Columbus to outside of Dayton to pick up a set of wheels. So I am probably not hiding it very well, but I'm actually extremely excited. And why this is going to take a couple months, because they unfortunately will need refinish. But here's a quick little sneak peek back there. I'm not going to spoil it just yet, but I'll show you what they look like and the condition of them before I send them off to get refinished. But I got to do some time traveling and get back home, and then I'll show you the condition of these wheels. What in the heck is that? We're officially back home, and here's a closer inspection of the wheels and tires I just picked up. If they look familiar to you, well, these are in fact a replica wheel. Now, I'm not too familiar with the models because we do not have them here in the United States, but I believe these are replica of a Opel Astra wheel, or I think a Vauxhall VXR, something along those lines. But these are in fact 100% replica wheels. The spec is an 18x8, 42 offset, 65.1 bore size with the 5x110 bolt pattern, which makes it ideal for bolting up to a new Gen 9.3, like what you see here. And spoiler alert, that's exactly what's going to be going on. Now, I plan to replace these Andros Spec J wheels, near identical specs to these replica wheels here. These Andros ones are also an 18x8, 42 offset, as well as a 5x110 bolt pattern. The only difference being the hub bore size. Now, I don't know the specs on this one, but it is different, and it requires a hub-centric ring so you don't have any wheel wobble issues. But going back to these replica wheels, I absolutely love the way they look. Unfortunately, they were somewhat overplayed about 5 to 8 years ago. You can still find various photos online and on various Saab forums of folks running it on their new Gen 9.3s, but it's something to wear. I always loved the way they looked with that machine face to them. You used to be able to find them all over eBay. A few different sellers offered them in different sizes, and three main variations. There's this light silver, there was a dark silver, as well as a black inlay, all with having a nice machine face. But these ones, unfortunately, are far from that. Three of them are pretty scratched up. Not too terrible, but this one is by far the worst, with some extreme curb rash. And the tires are absolute garbage, as well as kind of an oddball spec for a Saab. These are 225/50 R18s, whereas what's on the red car now are a 235/40 18s. I plan to source some center caps because unfortunately those are long gone. The seller didn't have those. And then I'm going to just end up buying new tire pressure monitoring sensors just to be on the safe side. Now, as far as a game plan with these, ideally I would love to do a dark kind of anthracite gray on the inlay, and then this fixed, that to kind of just, you know, buff out and then repolish it. But realistically, I don't think that's going to happen. But worst case, I'm just going to go ahead and get these things all powder coated one single color, that being anthracite gray. I did initially think about going black, but I think with the black tire, black rim, you really lose sight of the rim. Now, it probably would look good on the red car, but I think ideally I want to do a dark color, like a gray anthracite. Now, last year I did mention that I want to repaint the fog light surrounds as well as the three-piece grille into a dark gray, like the Turbo X color, and I'm pretty sure that's exactly what I want to do with these rims. So hopefully you can kind of see the vision that I have planned here. This will take a little bit of time. Next steps, I need to find somebody local to me to dismount these tires. And if you're wondering as far as cost, well, yeah, they are rather beat up, but I got them extremely dirt cheap. $160 US for all four. I just had to drive a little bit to go pick them up, but hey, I think they're fixable with a little bit of time and effort from the refinisher. So we'll see what kind of magic they can work. And then next steps is going to be pulling off these wheels and tires and putting the new ones on. It's been a few months, but before I show you the finalized powder-coated wheels, I wanted to show some parts that I recently picked up. I ended up, because I have the new refinished wheels, I'm going to get some new tires. Well, I decided now's a great time to replace the TPMS tire pressure monitoring sensors. These are by Schrader, part number 20159, and I picked up the set off of rockauto.com, and I believe the set to be very reasonable priced for all four. Now, the beauty of the new Gen 9 3s, as long as you have the proper frequency TPMS sensors and that your TPMS module is in great working order, you just need to pop these in, drive the car for a little bit, and they will auto sync. Moving along, I had this genuine Saab billet oil cap for some time now, but it only comes in this one polished color. Well, I wanted the ghost to look a little more prominent, so while I had the wheels were finished, I had the powder coater powder coat the face of this in a matte black and then leave the ghost in that shiny billet color. So it's not something that genuine Saab offers because it only comes in the polished faced color, but I think this looks absolutely amazing, and I'm very excited to put that back in the engine bay. Now, more importantly, in the missing piece of the puzzle for the wheels, because they did not come with the center caps, well, I finally sourced some center caps. It took some digging, but I picked up the 60 millimeter set of center caps off of eBay, and they have this little raised lip, and along with them from a different seller, I picked up these 60 millimeter aluminum Saab emblems, and it's got sticky tape on the back, so you can peel this off and then stick it in here, and then it'll be nice and centered because there is a lip. So because the caps are 60 mil, the stickers are 60 mil, they'll be centered perfect. Now, if I went with just a full smooth face, well, you can kind of offset this by accident a little bit, and then as the wheel's spinning, it'll kind of look oblonged and kind of funny. So with this little raised edge, makes a world of difference. I'll just stick that onto there, and it will look absolutely amazing. Without further ado, here are the refinished wheels. So I am more than excited about these things. Obviously, I already slapped in one of the center caps just to make sure before I put the stickers onto the universal center cap that it would in fact fit. So they fit perfectly, so I'll go ahead and pop these in all of the wheels. But look how absolutely amazing this looks. So I went with a darker anthracite kind of gray color. When you look up close, there is some metallic flake to it. And then because this is a machined face, there is no way 100% to get back to that machined look, but he sanded all this stuff down, ground out what curb rash he could get rid of, and then powder coated this in a very light silver, so it replicates that machined face edge. So I think these look absolutely amazing. And here's what they look like up close, and they still have this saran wrap protection along the lip of it, and I'm going to leave that on there for now just because I'm going to have to store them until I get the tires. But look how absolutely amazing these things look. So it took some time to get done, but it was well worth the time, because look at these things. They look absolutely amazing. And the center caps will pop in. It's a little difficult to do one-handed here, but goes in like that. Man, I'm so stoked for these wheels. Oh, I can't wait to get the tires and get these things mounted. So I'm gonna get the tires, gonna order those, get the new TPMS in here, get the tires balanced, all that good stuff. And then I need to figure out what I'm going to do for the wheel spacing. So I'm going to get some wheel spacers. I don't know if I'm going to stick with 10 mil. I think the back, because these are a 42 offset, I think I'm going to have to go with something a little bigger than 10 mil, but I won't know until I mount these things up and do some measuring, but for now, I just need to go ahead and order the tires and stare at these things because, man, look how amazing these things look. Today's officially the day. Finally got these 18-inch rims wrapped in some new Goodyear rubber. Today's the day. We're gonna finally install these on the 08 Laser Red 9.3. Before I install them, let me show you exactly what I ended up with. I picked up some Goodyear all-season tires. They're an Eagle Sport 235/40/18. And one important thing to consider if you're looking for tires for your Saab is the load rating. Now, I believe the Saab 9.3s, the new gens 03 and up, it's either a 93 or 94 sidewall load rating. These ones come in a 95. I think a 91 and a 95, so I went on the higher side. So that's definitely something to consider because these cars are rather heavy. All season, even though I have the Volvo now right there, I don't really plan to drive this car in the winter anymore, but sometimes circumstances change and I may need to move the car in the winter. So just in case, I did end up going with all seasons instead of summer specific tires. And as far as tread pattern, I didn't really care about it. So this is what it looks like for these Eagle Sports. It does appear to be like an asymmetric design where this side is a little bit different than that, which is kind of cool looking, I guess. But I'll spare you the expense of wasting your time showing me throwing these on, and we'll just pick back up with these tires installed on the car. Wheels and tires are finally mounted. So this ordeal, we're talking nearly a year from the time I picked these things up, used on Facebook Marketplace, sent them to the powder coater refinished them, ordered the wheels and tires, had them mounted and balanced, and now finally physically on the car. I think actually we're talking about 10 months worth of time here, but whatever it was, in my honest opinion, I think it was well worth the wait. This is one of my favorite styles of wheels for the 9.3, regardless if it's the sedan like this, the convertible, or the combi. I think these wheels just look absolutely amazing on any 9.3. The car is lowered on some Stag lowering springs. I don't even know if Stag's even around anymore. Eventually I'd like to go to coilovers, but from a practicality standpoint, from a city that has a lot of potholes, the 18s, the 235/40/18 tires, and a little bit of a lowered suspension, I think this makes for a practical daily driver. Now the elephant in the room, just gonna go ahead and say it, is the wheel spacing. These are countersunk in quite a bit on the rear. Not so bad on the front, but it definitely could use a wheel spacer. I don't know if I wanna do a 10 mil or a 15 mil on the front, and then either a 20 or a 25 in the rear. And the reason why I haven't pulled the trigger yet is, one, I don't know what spacing I want to do. Of course I can measure it, but two, I'm considering converting to just studs. In my opinion, that would make life a little bit easier, putting wheels on and taking them off, as opposed to whatever they call these, maybe lug studs. I don't know what these are, but I'm looking at just converting to studs. But also, and hear me out, I'm also considering putting some flares on this car. Now, I don't know exactly how or what I'd be using, so I'm open to anything in the comment section, whether it be the idea in general, if you think it's good or bad, and also what you think I should use for the flares. Now, there is the 9.3X. It originally came, I think, only in the Sport Combi. I've seen somebody online where they took the 9.3X cladding package with the flares and put it on a sedan like this, but it does look rather rugged for the look I'm going for. I don't particularly care for the rear diffuser on the 9.3X, whereas mine, the look I'm going for with this knockoff Hirsch diffuser, I think is a bit more sporty. So if I were to go the 9.3X flare route, one would be the mounting of it. Two would also be the fact that without using the 9.3X diffuser, it does have a unique skirt so that the flare kind of goes into it. Well, without using the skirt, the back portion, and the front portion, I think the flares will just end up a little bit too short. So I'd have to come up with a way, maybe extend it with fiberglass, I don't know. So I'm not sure if that is the best route to go. Now, I'm definitely not looking for any Easter Bunny kits or Statue of Liberty walks, whatever you might call it, for a super wide body. I want to do something somewhat subtle, but yet looking OEM. I want something smooth. I don't want to do rivets. I don't want to bolt it on. Again, smooth. And then when it's all said and done, paint it this laser red color. So something sort of OEM, something sort of ish aftermarket. I guess what I'm saying is something in between. Like I said, let me know in the comment section down below if you think this idea to put flares on my 9.3 is absolutely mental and I should just get enough wheel spacers to bring the front wheel out to the end of the front fender. Same thing for the rear, enough spacing to just bring that rear wheel out to the end of the quarter panel. Or if maybe, just maybe, putting flares on this 9.3 could actually look cool. I don't know. I'm really curious to know your guys' thoughts. I appreciate you making it this far. Definitely consider subscribing, and I will catch you friends next time.